Good night. This is Midnight Frequency, and you're listening to a voice that will keep you company until the city finally falls asleep. Tonight, I want to read you a letter from a girl who asked us to call her Anna. She and her friends decided to test a local legend about a night forest where you must never look back, and one of them broke the rule. Anna says this story still follows her when the lights go out. Let me read you her letter. Hi, my name is Anna. I'm 20, and I'm not sure if what happened to us was real or just some kind of shared nightmare. But I can't stop thinking about that night, about the forest, and about the rule we broke. Last summer, I went back to my hometown for a couple of weeks. It's a small place with one main street, a river and a forest that everyone pretends not to be afraid of. I hadn't seen my old friends for almost 2 years, and on the first evening we met at the riverbank with cheap coffee and way too many stories to catch up on. There were 4 of us: me, my best friend Liza, her boyfriend Max, and Dima, who had always been the loud skeptic of the group. At first, everything felt normal: jokes, gossip, the same old playground memories. But as it got darker, the conversation, like it always does there, slid toward the forest. Where I grew up, that forest isn't just trees. People call part of it Witch's Land. Every kid knows the rule. If you walk the witch's path at night, you must not look back until you reach the old oak. No matter what you hear, no matter who calls you, if you turn around, the forest remembers you. When we were younger, it was just a scary story to whisper at sleepovers. But that night by the river, with the water black and quiet, it felt different. "Let's finally try it," Dima said, like he'd just suggested going for ice cream. Liza rolled her eyes, but I saw she was curious too. Max just shrugged and said, "If we film it, at least we'll have content." I should have said no. I keep replaying that moment in my head, but I didn't want to be the boring one who'd grown out of all this. "We'll just walk the path and come back," Dima insisted. "No demons, just trees." That's how every bad decision starts, I guess. Around midnight, we drove out of town in Max's old car. The road to the forest runs along the river, then twists into the hills, where the streetlights disappear one by one. We joked at first, taking pictures, playing music too loud, but the closer we got, the more the car windows reflected our faces instead of the outside. It felt like the night was pressing against the glass. Max parked where the asphalt broke into a dirt road. Ahead of us, the forest started as a dark wall, no path visible yet, just a gap where the trees were a little thinner. "We go in, we walk straight, we don't look back." "That's it," Dima said, turning on his phone flashlight. "And we film the whole thing," Max added, already opening the camera app. That part turned out to be important later. The air changed as soon as we stepped under the trees. The smell of the river and dust was gone. Instead, it smelled like wet earth, old leaves, and something bitter I couldn't name. We lined up. Max in front with the brightest flashlight, then me, then Liza, and Dima last. The rule was simple: no turning around, no matter what. "If you chicken out, at least warn us," Liza said, half joking, half serious. The ground under our feet turned from gravel to a narrow, packed dirt trail. Branches scratched against each other above us, and somewhere far away an owl called once, and then went quiet. For the first few minutes, nothing happened. Max pointed his phone ahead, and I saw his hand trembling just slightly in the beam. "Look, the famous witch's path." "So scary," Dima muttered behind us. His voice echoed strangely, as if the trees were throwing it back a second late. I remember feeling suddenly very aware of my own footsteps and of the space between my back and Dima's chest. It felt too big, like someone else could fit there. "Do you hear that?" Liza whispered. At first I thought she meant the crunch of leaves, our breathing, the usual forest sounds. Then I realized she meant the opposite. There were no insects, no distant cars, no dogs barking from the village, just our footsteps and the dry rasp of branches overhead. "It's fine," Dima said too quickly. "We're almost at the oak, right?" The thing is, I couldn't see the oak yet. The path just kept going, like someone was unrolling it in front of us 1 meter at a time. I glanced down at my phone, not turning, just lowering my eyes to the screen for a second. The timer on the video said we'd been walking for 3 minutes. When I looked again a moment later, it said 9. My stomach dropped. "Max, how long have we been here?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "I don't know. My clock froze," he said. "It still says 0014. Liza grabbed my sleeve so hard it hurt. "Someone's behind Dima," she whispered. "Don't," I hissed. "Don't say that." "I'm serious," she insisted. "The shadows. There are 5. I wanted to turn so badly my neck actually hurt from the tension. And that was when I heard my mother's voice call my name from behind me. It wasn't possible. My mother was at home, asleep, miles away from this forest, but the voice behind me was hers, soft, tired, the exact way she calls me when she thinks I'm having a nightmare. "Anna, baby, turn around." My legs almost buckled. "Don't stop," Max whispered. His voice cracked a little. Liza squeezed my arm. "Just keep walking, please." The voice behind me called again, this time impatient, almost annoyed. "Anna, I said turn around." My actual mother never speaks to me like that. Something cold slid down my spine. Dima exhaled shakily. "Okay, this isn't funny anymore." None of us responded. We just kept walking, one step after another, as if the path itself was pulling us forward. Then something else happened, something worse. Someone grabbed the back of my hoodie, not hard, not violently, just like a familiar hand trying to stop me. I whimpered before I could stop myself. "Don't look," Liza hissed. "Anna, promise me, don't." "Guys," Dima began, I think I saw something next to us." "Shut up," Max whispered sharply. "Don't make it real." The forest felt alive, breathing, listening, waiting. I couldn't see the oak yet. The trail just kept stretching ahead like a long, dark vein. "We should have reached it already," Max muttered. "It's not that long." "Maybe we missed it," Dima said weakly. "Impossible," Liza snapped. "You can't miss something that big." The hand tugged my hoodie again, harder this time. And then I heard it, a whisper, right at my ear. "Turn around, sweetheart. You dropped something." My throat closed up. I couldn't even breathe properly. "Guys," I whispered, "someone is right behind me." "No," Liza's voice broke. "No, there isn't. Don't say that." Except there was. I could feel breath, warm, real, moving strands of my hair. "Anna," the voice said suddenly, louder. "Turn around." And that's when Dima did the one thing we were all terrified of. He turned. "Dima, no!" Max yelled. But it was too late. His flashlight beam swung wildly behind us, and then cut out completely. "Dima?" Liza whispered. No answer. His footsteps were gone. Just gone. "He's messing with us," Max said, but even he didn't believe it. My phone vibrated suddenly, nearly making me scream. A notification, new video saved, but I hadn't recorded anything. The thumbnail showed only static, white noise with a dark shape in the middle. and the timestamp said it was recorded 10 minutes into the future. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone. "Don't open it," Max warned. "Anna, don't." But I already had. The video played in total silence. Just static at first, snow-like noise covering the screen. Then a shape appeared, someone standing on the path. Not walking, not turning, just standing. "That's Dima," Liza whispered, but her voice sounded dead. Except it wasn't his posture. Too stiff, too tall. And the longer I looked, the more wrong it felt. The figure slowly lifted its head. But the video cut out before I saw its face. This is a glitch," Max stammered. "Phones do that sometimes." "No phone I've ever owned predicted the future." "We need to keep moving," Liza said suddenly. "If we stop, the forest notices." "What does that mean?" Max snapped. "I don't know. My grandma used to say it," she cried. We started walking again, faster this time. The path beneath us felt different, like the ground was softer, almost pulsing. "Max, shine your light ahead," I said. He lifted his phone. The beam stretched out and caught something pale between the trees. A hand, just a hand, hanging at the edge of the darkness. "Nope, nope, nope." Max's voice was shrinking. The hand slid out of sight, as if pulled by something we couldn't see. "It's playing with us," Liza whispered. I didn't want to ask what it meant. My phone vibrated again. Another video saved itself. This time Max grabbed my wrist. Don't look yet." But curiosity is a cruel thing. I tapped the screen. The video showed the three of us walking, me, Liza, Max, exactly as we were. But something was wrong with the shadows. We had 4. One more, right behind me. "Turn it off," Liza begged. "Anna, turn it off." I did, but the silence that followed was worse, because now I could hear footsteps behind us, soft, slow, matching our pace exactly. "Don't run," Max whispered. "It wants us to run." "The oak," Liza said. "We just need to reach the oak." "Where is it?" I cried. None of us had an answer. Then Max's flashlight flickered, once, twice, and illuminated something massive at the end of the trail. "The oak," Liza breathed. Finally, we ran toward it. The footsteps behind us ran too. The oak rose above us like a dark monument, its branches twisting into the night sky like broken ribs. "Touch it," Liza shouted. "If we touch it, the path ends." We didn't question it. We didn't question anything anymore. Max reached the tree first and slammed his hand against the rough bark. I slammed mine right beside his. Liza joined a second later, gasping. The footsteps stopped instantly. Not faded, not slowed, just stopped. Max raised his phone, aiming the light back down the trail. "Don't look," I said automatically. "I'm not turning my head," he whispered. "Just the light." The beam reached only a few meters before dissolving into the blackness. Nothing there. No extra shadow. No figure. No footsteps. But the silence was wrong. Dense, waiting, deliberate. "We touched the oak," Liza whispered. "So we can turn around now, right?" She wanted someone to confirm it. Neither Max nor I said a word. Slowly, like someone lowering into cold water, we turned. At first, nothing. Just the path and the trees. Then Max gasped. "What the—" The path behind us wasn't straight anymore. It curved, it twisted, it looped into itself like a snake swallowing its own tail. And far away, too far, impossibly far, stood a single figure. "Dima," Liza whispered. It looked like him. Same hoodie, same height, same way he stood with one shoulder tilted. But something was off. His face wasn't visible, not because of the distance, but because darkness itself covered it, like a smudge. "Dima," Liza called out, stepping forward. "Don't move." Max grabbed her arm. The figure jerked sharply, like a puppet yanked by strings. Then it took one step toward us. Not walking, sliding, as if the ground moved under it. "We need to leave," I said. "Now." "Which way?" Liza cried. "The path. Look at it." She was right. The path we came from was gone, dissolved into twisting darkness. Only the oak remained solid, unmoving, rooted in something older than the forest. "My phone. Maybe maps will work," Max said desperately. He unlocked the screen and froze. "What? What is this?" His map didn't show a trail, or trees, or a forest, just a blank white space with a single word. "Return." "Is it telling us to go back?" Liza whispered. "No," I said. "It's telling us that we didn't." Before anyone could respond, my phone buzzed loudly in my hand. A new video. This one didn't save itself quietly. It opened on its own. The screen showed the oak tree. From behind us, someone was filming us, and in the video between Max and Liza stood Dima. But he wasn't standing with us in real life. "This isn't possible," Max whispered. He's smiling." In the video, Dima turned slowly toward the camera, and the smile twisted into something that wasn't human. The video ended with a single whisper. "Behind you." Max slammed his thumb on the screen, killing the video, but it didn't help. The whisper felt like it slid straight into my ear. "Behind you." Liza whimpered and grabbed my wrist. "Anna, don't turn. Please don't." "We need to move," Max said, trying to sound calm and failing. But where? There was no path behind us anymore, and in front, just the oak's roots and darkness. "The forest won't let us go," Liza whispered. "It's rearranging itself." My skin went ice cold, and then we heard it, breathing. Slow, measured, too close. It wasn't any of us. It came from behind, exactly where the video said something was standing. I could feel it on my neck. Warm. Humid. "Don't react," Max whispered. "If we panic, it gets closer." "Closer," Liza hissed. "It's already behind us." "We touched the oak," I said, trembling. "The rule ends at the oak. It has to." Max swallowed hard. "Then maybe we're supposed to look now." Liza shook her head violently. "No, no, no." But the breathing behind us shifted, leaning closer like a curious animal sniffing prey. Something grazed my hair. Not a hand, not quite. Something softer. "Anna?" The voice whispered again. "Sweetheart, turn around." It wasn't my mother's voice anymore. It only wore her shape. I couldn't breathe. "Okay," Max said suddenly. "On 3, we turned together, not separately." Liza shook violently but nodded. 1. The breathing got louder. 2. Something pressed lightly against my back. 3. We turned, and there was nothing. No figure, no shadow, no Dima, just the twisting path and the oak's roots behind us. "Where is he?" Liza cried. "Where is Dima?" But before we even processed the emptiness, the forest changed again. The darkness behind us folded into itself, stretching upward like a curtain being lifted. And through that darkness stepped Dima, or something wearing his outline. He stood just outside the reach of our flashlight beams. "Dima?" Max said weakly. The figure tilted its head too far, like its neck wasn't built for the motion. "You left," it whispered. "You weren't supposed to leave me." Liza sobbed. "Dima, please come here, please." The figure stepped forward, and the forest swallowed the sound of its footstep, as if the world didn't want us to hear it move. My phone buzzed violently again. A new photo. This time I didn't open it. It opened itself. The picture was of us, me, Liza, Max, taken from behind. But in the photo, a hand rested gently on my shoulder. a hand that wasn't there in real life. And a second later, before I could scream, the hand on the photo began to move, crawling up toward my neck. "Run," Max whispered. "Now." And for the first time, the forest allowed it. The daylight hit my eyes so harshly I thought I was dreaming. One second we were running from the screaming darkness, and the next we were standing at the edge of the familiar dirt road near the forest entrance, the same place where Max had parked the car, except the car wasn't there. Where is it?" Max gasped. "It was right here," Liza said. "It was right here." I turned slowly, scanning the area. The ground where the car had been parked was covered in frost, but it was summer, the warmest week of the year. "Guys," I whispered. "What time is it?" Max pulled out his phone. It booted up slowly, glitching, screen flickering. When the lock screen appeared, he paled. "It says Monday." "We went into the forest on Saturday night," I said. Liza shook her head. No, that's wrong. That's impossible." Max checked the date again. "Monday. 2 days gone." "We weren't in there for 2 days," I whispered. "We weren't." Liza started crying softly, and then she screamed. She pointed at the ground. There were footprints, fresh ones. 3 pairs, mine, hers, Max's, leading out of the trees. But a 4th set led back in, heavy, dragging a little. Dima?" Liza whispered. Max swallowed. "No, that's not him. That's not how he walks." My phone vibrated weakly, battery nearly dead. A notification popped up. "New album created. Witch's Path." My blood ran cold. I opened the album. Hundreds of photos, hundreds of videos, all time-stamped during the 2 days we didn't remember. Most were corrupted, distorted beyond recognition. Faces stretched into spirals, trees bent like liquid metal, light curving in impossible shapes. But some were clear. One showed me sleeping against the oak. Another showed Max staring into the darkness, eyes wide, unmoving. A third showed Liza holding her phone up, crying, though she didn't remember doing that. And the last clear photo, the one I wish I had never opened, was taken from behind us. The 3 of us stood there, confused, terrified, staring toward the trees. And behind us, so close we should have felt its breath, stood a tall, distorted silhouette. Not human, not Dima. Something older, something patient. And in the photo, its hand was reaching toward my shoulder again. I dropped the phone. "Anna?" Liza asked. "What did you see?" "We need to go home," I whispered. "Now." Max finally spotted his car, parked 50 meters down the road where none of us had seen it before. As if the forest returned it, only after we saw the photos. We got inside without speaking. Max tried to start the engine. It sputtered, choked, then turned on. Liza stared out the window. "Where's Dima?" And none of us had an answer. We drove back to town in complete silence, not because we didn't want to talk, but because we didn't know which words were still safe to say. Every sentence felt like it could draw something back to us. Max kept glancing at the rearview mirror. I did too, and each time, even when the road was empty, I had the horrible feeling that something was just outside the frame. When we finally reached home, we didn't hug, didn't promise to check on each other. We just drifted apart, as if the forest had loosened our ties the same way it twisted the path. That night, I tried to sleep. I closed my eyes for maybe a minute before my phone buzzed again. A new notification. 1 photo restored. I didn't open it. I deleted it immediately. But the next morning, the same photo appeared again. And the morning after that. Always the same image. The 3 of us standing at the forest's edge, with that tall silhouette behind us. And every day the silhouette was a little closer, I stopped checking my gallery after that. I deleted the whole album. My phone crashed, rebooted, and created it again. Max texted me 2 days later. Do your photos disappear at night, too? I didn't answer. I didn't want to know more. Liza, on the other hand, kept calling. She kept saying the same thing. I hear him. Outside my window. I asked her if she meant Dima. She said no. It's something that talks like him, she whispered. After that night, Liza stopped going out after dark. Max moved to another city for college and blocked me on every social platform. I don't think he hates me. I think he's trying to run from the memory. As for Dima, no one ever found him. His parents filed a missing person report. The police searched the forest for 3 days. They found nothing. Not his phone, not his hoodie, not even his footprints, as if the forest swallowed him cleanly. And the worst part? Sometimes I dream of him. In the dream, he stands with his back to me, whispering, "You didn't follow the rules." I wake up every time before he turns around. I wrote you this letter because I need to know, has anyone else seen the witch's path? Has anyone else heard the voice that sounds like someone you love? I just want to know we're not alone in this. Because last night, when I was walking home, I heard footsteps behind me. Slow, careful, familiar, and a voice said, "Anna, you dropped something." I didn't turn around. I won't. Not again. Thank you for reading this. Maybe saying it out loud makes it less real, but I don't think it does. This was Anna's letter, and I know many of you listening right now feel that chill she described. If you've ever walked a path you shouldn't have, or heard a voice that shouldn't exist, Anna is asking if she's alone. If you have a story, you know where to send it. This is Nocturnal FM. Don't forget the rules, and never look back in the dark.